Prophetic fire is a hypersensitivity to the suffering of others, especially the weak, the vulnerable, especially the orphan, the widow, the motherless, the fatherless, the poor, those who have been victimized by vicious legacies of white supremacy or male supremacy or anti-Jewish hatred, anti-Muslim hatred, anti-Arab hatred. It's a way of being in the world in which what is integral to how you act in the world has to do with the suffering of others, the suffering of the weak. Police culture in the United States in which to treat poor people, and especially black and brown and red poor people, in a certain way is part of the natural order of things. And so they have been doing this for so long, they get away with it for so long. When they finally get caught, it's viewed as just a routinized, naturalized, normalized way of being for police cultures. And you recognize, of course, this is true for black policemen vis-a-vis black poor youth, brown policemen vis-a-vis brown poor youth, Asian policemen vis-a-vis Asian youth. So it's not just a matter of race, it's a matter of class, and it's a matter of a police culture that is unaccountable and unanswerable to certain communities, not the well-to-do white communities, not well-to-do black communities. It's a class issue as well as race. If you want to know the truth about American society, you want to know the truth about Australian society, you at least have to begin by taking seriously the suffering. Those who have been rendered invisible, those who by the normal order of things are pushed to the side. Where do the Aboriginals, where do indigenous peoples fit in? Invisible. But they're still here, they're still human beings, they're still precious, but they're invisible. So that truth connected to that suffering is required in order to begin to tell the full story of what America is as a nation, of what Australia is as a nation. Yeah, you see, the blues is fundamentally about catastrophe and how you wrestle with catastrophe lyrically. And we live in catastrophic times. It's one of the reasons why Aboriginal brothers and sisters are in love with a Marvin Gaye. We just heard that in Lola's radio station, you see, because rhythm and blues, connected to blues and jazz, wrestles with catastrophe, but the response is not hatred and revenge. The response is style, smile, a certain rhythm, a certain way of being in time that doesn't allow you to be completely devoured by the worst of the catastrophe. And I think that's one of the reasons why, you know, Australia has responded so magnificently to black music. The blues idiom is the idiom of our day because the catastrophe at the nuclear, at the ecological, at the moral, at the economic, at the psychic levels affects each and every one of us. There's no doubt that the American empire is in relative decline. There's no way that the empires can sustain the heights that America did between 1945 and 1973. At the same time, given its military might and given its cultural capital and so forth, it's going to be around for a little while. And so I think Australia has to be wise, courageous, and prudent in the sense of acknowledging if they hitch themselves to the American empire, they're in deep trouble. If they're critical enough to sustain their own sense of who they are, can build on the best of what America, because Martin Luther King is American as cherry pie. John Coltrane, Nina Simone's American as cherry pie. Australia got something to learn from John Coltrane, Martin King, and Nina Simone and the others. You see what I mean? Now, Henry Kissinger, that's a different question. You see, he's American too, but he's not the part of America that I'm talking about. So that, in that sense, I think that Australia will actually, in an ironic way, end up playing a much more important role as Asia becomes center stage, because it has very, as I said before, very distinctive history, and I think it can play a prophetic role if it has the courage and vision to do so.